Yeah, definitely. Just being able to build that camaraderie each week. It's something that it doesn't happen overnight. They say Rome wasn't built in a day. Um, so being able to go out there every day in practice and meetings in the afternoons, all that stuff with those guys is just building towards that camaraderie, and we hope to continue to build it each week throughout the season.
Go Ira on your right.
Congratulations on the AFC. Good work, Steve.
Thank you.
Why is that important to you? Like, have you always been interested in civic work, things like that?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's something that was instilled in me from a young age. I come from a long line of people, that give back to their community, and then the things that I'm specifically doing, they all hit home pretty hard to me. I've been that kid, that had someone reach out and pour into them. So I try to do that and give back with my camp back home. My mom went through her breast cancer battle in my earlier years of college. So I saw how rough that can be on people, and I couldn't imagine someone having to go through that without a support system. So later this season, in our bye week in October, I'm going down to the Moffitt Cancer Center, giving out care packages to cancer patients there. So I'd say everything that I'm doing is stuff that really, hits home with me. So yeah, that stuff's important to me.
Brendan?
Who were people that poured into you when you were younger? Who was that the support for you as a kid growing up?
Yeah, definitely. Where I'm from, we got a couple really good football players that came through Brevard County, Cocoa High School specifically before me. Guys like Jawan Taylor, Chauncey Garner Johnson, Jamel Dean. All three of those guys are in the NFL right now. And when I was younger, they definitely reached out and poured into me. And I think that's so important. Especially being where I'm from, it's a real small town. Football is big there, but outside of that, there's not much going on. So definitely, I think that's really important.
Ira?
How'd you handle the bye week? Coach Norvell said it was important to get a little bit of a break. Do guys do that, or because you guys are having success, the guys want to stay in the film room and focus? Like, how'd you guys handle that?
Yeah, I think as a team, we all had the same mindset going into that bye week, to find ways to get better. Even though we didn't have a game, it's still that's our standard here. Florida State is our best, and to get better every single day. So we had to find ways to do that throughout the bye week. And if we might necessarily be playing a game, that might be something like sitting down watching film together, or watching a game of a future opponent together, stuff like that. So yes, sir.
We'll come over second row on your left for Peter.
Richie, also saw that you made this trip to Argentina. Want to just tell us about that experience of traveling there and what you learned from that experience traveling all the way overseas?
Yeah, going down to Argentina was an amazing experience back in the summer. Um, I'd say one thing I learned is you really have to love this game. Because there are people in other places like Argentina, guys who are in their mid 30s and working their 9 to 5s, and then come driving out to a park in the middle of Buenos Aires at 9 p.m. to to play football. To go to practice and probably not making a penny off of it. It's just strictly off the love in the game, and it was a great opportunity to be able to go down there and grow the game in a different place. And, it was a wonderful experience all around.
Brendan?
With the physicality that we've seen from the defense through 2 Saturdays, you guys went against it consistently through the offseason. Is there anything that surprised you, or is this pretty expected that the group would be as physical as it's been?
Yeah, I'd say it's expected. Like you said, we've been able to go against them all off season, and so it was no shock to see those guys play as well as they did, at least to me. So yeah.
We'll go back over to Ira on your right.
When a guy like Usman comes in as a freshman, and you've heard about him, I'm sure, everybody keeps telling us he's different. Like, that's the word everybody uses. Can you describe that? Like, what makes him different, especially the young guy?
Yeah, I think at least from my perspective, being able to block for him, how patient he is, so young. I feel like that's something that you don't see in every single young running back that comes through. But his patience and his ability to, stay off the ground and not get tackled, it's extremely impressive. And I'm excited to see what Uz does throughout the rest of the season and his career here.
Go to Liam, second row on your left.
You just talk about, obviously, I think last season and with the injury for you, just how gratifying it is to be out there with these group of guys and how much fun you've been having through these first few weeks of the season.
Yeah, definitely. It's amazing. I think my last football game was before this season started. It was last September, so it had been almost 11 months since I had played in a live game, and it was surreal out there week one. For a second, I felt like like a young guy again, like a rookie or something like that. But the guys around me, they're so wonderful to go to work with every single day. Guys like Luke, Gunner, Rizzy, Medball, Micah, it's Otto. I love being in that offensive line room, especially being led by Coach Han. I couldn't ask for a better group of guys to do it with. So yeah.
I'll come back to Brendan on the front row.
We all got to see a bunch of the young guys get extended reps. Last game, I should say last game. I guess what was that like to see that group get that much action? Did anyone stand out to you and who you were particularly proud of?
I was proud of all of them as a whole. It was a lot of guys first time getting live game reps. It was some guys second or third time. But it was just really good to be able to sit back and get those guys in and let them go, play in a real game, because you can try as much as you want, but you can't really replicate that experience. So it was awesome to see, and I was really proud of that group for sure.
Go back to Ira.
When you came in here, they're coming off a 13-win season, and then last year goes the way it goes with all the injuries and everything else, and you had another year. Like, were you not tempted to say, well, this wasn't the move, and then why were you committed to sticking in that league?
No, I definitely would say I wasn't tempted. I love Florida State. Florida State has been wonderful to me ever since I got here, and I have so much faith in Coach Norvell and the rest of the staff. So I wasn't really tempted to go anywhere. And like I said, I have immense faith in them. So I knew, one bad season wasn't, the end all be all. So it wasn't a question of me being at Florida State for my last year or not. I knew where I'd be.
I just want to follow up on that. The things you're doing off the field, is the staff supportive of that? Sometimes you think a football coach and it's football, but like, what kind of support do you receive as you try to do some of the things you're trying to do off the field?
Yeah, the staff is extremely supportive of that. I wouldn't be able to do a lot of the things without, their support, and approval. So definitely overly supportive. They, it's part of our, core values. One of our core values is service, sacrifice, respect. So definitely.
Anything else for Richie? Matt?
You talked about being from a small town, and now you have multiple guys on the team from that town, Boggs, Keziah. How cool is that to have that many guys and have like that support system as well?
It's awesome. It really cool to see. 4 guys all from the same real small, 3A, 4A high school in Cocoa, Florida, all at Florida State. It's cool to see. Definitely.
Go back to Peter.
Richie, obviously, you want to continue to play football as long as you can, but obviously doing the things that you've done on the field, that you feel like creating all these camps and all this traveling that you made, that you feel like you found another calling outside of football. When that is over, that you found your next career after football.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like I said earlier, service is something that's been instilled in me, from a young age. I think right now football helps me out with that a lot, being able to do certain things or do things like, put on a youth football camp, So I think whatever my next calling in life, service will still be a part of that, regardless of, what my day-to-day activity is,
We'll go to Aslan, back row on the right.
Rich, I think you call Adrian Bedball.
Yeah.
You got a permit?
No, no, that's just a nickname we got for him. That was his nickname long before he came here. So yeah. I couldn't tell you where it originated from, but it just stuck. So yeah.
Anything else? All right, thanks, Richie.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, Richard.
No problem.